Hello, everyone. Welcome to A Garden a Day with Maidenbrock Gardens, where we explore the world one garden at a time. Today is September 28th. Today's garden is one of the last walled gardens built during the Victorian era in Ireland and boasts one of Ireland's longest herbaceous borders. Today we are exploring the Victorian walled garden at Kylemore Abbey in County Galway, Ireland. Kylemore Abbey was built between 1867 and 1871 as a family home for the Henrys of Manchester, England. Mitchell Henry and his wife Margaret had traveled to the area on their honeymoon about 20 years earlier. After Margaret died only a few years after the castle was built, Mitchell Henry returned to England but retained the Kylemore Castle estate until it was sold to the Duke and Duchess of Manchester in 1903. The Duke and Duchess remained there for a few years until they were forced to sell the estate to help pay off a few of the Duke's gambling debts. Kylemore became an abbey after a group of Benedictine nuns purchased the property in 1920. They had been part of a community in Ypres, Belgium, but were forced to flee during World War I when their abbey was bombed during the Battle of Ypres. Since 1920, the abbey has been a Benedictine monastery that is both a place of spiritual education and a visitor attraction led and maintained by the Benedictine nuns. The entire estate spans about 1,000 acres. The Victorian walled garden covers about 6 of those acres. The walled garden was created along with the building of the castle in the 1860s and 70s. At the height of its splendor, the garden boasted 21 heated glass houses and a staff of 40 gardeners. Today, 2 glass houses take up only a small portion of the garden. The garden is divided into 2 areas, separated by a mountain stream. To the east of the stream are the glass houses, head gardener's cottage and bothy, a small woodland, fernery, and a formal garden. To the west of the stream, an herb garden, cut flower garden, and kitchen garden grow near one of Ireland's longest herbaceous borders. The flowers growing in the border, as well as all the other plants growing in the walled garden, are Victorian plants. Only plants available prior to 1901 are grown there. After the Henrys sold the estate, the walled garden began a steady decline. When the nuns purchased the abbey in 1920, they set their work to growing vegetables for their own meals as well as for their students. It wasn't until the 1990s that interest in restoring the garden really took shape. The formal garden was restored to its former beauty. The design was based on photographs of the garden that had been taken during the 1870s. While the garden in some form has been open to the public since the 1970s, this newly restored heritage garden opened in 2000. There are several hiking trails outside of the walled garden. The Henrys planted 300,000 trees at Kylemore to reestablish the forest. Today, these trees, native, non-native, and specimen trees, shade hikers and provide habitat for coastal temperate rainforest plants and wildlife. The Abbey is open year-round. Guided tours are available of the ground floor of the Abbey, the mausoleum, and the neo-Gothic church. Tours of the garden are available through the end of October. The monastery hosts retreats at various times of the year. There's a tea house on site, as well as a cafe and gift shop. Children will enjoy the wild play area and visiting the ponies and pigs. The garden is open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Well, that's about it for today's garden visit. Join me here tomorrow to find out where we're going next. As a reminder, you can subscribe, like, or follow this podcast at any of the podcast listening places. You can subscribe to our mailing list by visiting our website at gardenaday.com and clicking on the subscribe button. You can also find us on Pinterest, and you can support us by buying a book through our storefront on Bookshop. Links are provided in the show notes for this episode. Thank you for listening today and every day. If all goes well, I'll be right back here tomorrow. See you then.